I often hear the term, "those were different times," when trying to understand how our ancestors could have supported limiting the rights of others. I remember when I first learned about Rosa Parks, not being able to sit in the front of the bus and wondering, well, why couldn't she? But everyone else could. Or why was it that women never used to have the right to vote? Why were interracial relationships so frowned upon? What were our ancestors thinking? These are the same kinds of rights we are depriving of same-sex couples today. This is the kind of issue that future generations are going to wonder, why did we deprive same-sex couples the right to marry? I have a cousin who is struggling with these societal limitations, and my heart goes out to him. When he talks about wanting to marry his life partner, not just have a civil union, prohibiting same-sex marriages not only limits the rights of some of our citizens, but it also promotes hate and discrimination despite what some people's religious beliefs say. Although Wisconsin now allows domestic partnerships, this is still not enough for those who are in love with someone of the same gender. Not allowing every adult to marry who they see fit is not allowing equal rights to all American citizens. According to Procon.com, U.S. District Judge Vaughn Walker on August 4, 2010, wrote that banning same-sex marriage in Prop 8 was unconstitutional under both the Due Process and Equal Protection Clauses. Gay marriage is protected by the Constitution's commitment to liberty and equality. A freedom of personal choice in matters of marriage and family life is one of the liberties protected by the Due Process Clause. Just like when we used to prohibit interracial marriage, or even the right for blacks and women to vote, not allowing for same-sex marriage is not allowing equal rights to gays and lesbians. And just like the many people that had to fight for those rights, same-sex couples are faced with the same battle to have the same rights as other citizens are today. According to Mark Strasser, in an article written in the Journal of Law and Family Studies, written in 2011, the illegalization of same-sex marriage is not only an infringement on marriage rights, but is also an infringement on privacy rights. As long as the marriage is between two consenting adults, it should be no one else's business as to who gets married and to whom they decide to share their special union with. Not only is illegalization of same-sex marriage an infringement of rights, but it also promotes discrimination and hate. One of the main reasons this issue is so close to my heart is because my cousin is openly gay. I remember him being beat up, pushed into lockers, made fun of, and heckled because of his sexual orientation. Had the families of these bullies in school taught them the morals of acceptance, love, and equality, perhaps this would have never happened to him. Instead, society taught us to discriminate against gays and to make them feel inadequate and inferior to those of us who are in straight relationships. Even when they graduate from the taunting they receive in high school, they never really get the feeling of equality. Although most states allow some form of civil union or acknowledgement of same-sex relationships, it is almost insulting that they do not get the same rights that are allowed to married opposite-sex couples. This makes them have less self-worth because they're not treated as equals, and America is treating them the same as those bullies did in high school. Sadly, hate crimes against gay men increased in 2010 from 2009, according to Alyssa Chang in an article in the WNYC News blog. In 2010, there were 114 bias attacks against gay men, up from 84 in 2009 in New York City. This just goes to show how this lengthy debate is only increasing hate crimes in America. We should be more concerned about offshore terrorism than terrorism committed by our citizens against our citizens. Although we would think this would just be an issue of equal rights and discrimination in America, many people have made this an issue of religion, which our country was not founded upon. One of the first arguments that many people will give against same-sex marriage is that it is an abomination according to the Holy Bible of the Christian religion. However, the Bible also says it's okay to possess slaves from neighboring nations, sell our daughters into slavery, we must not work on the Sabbath, and we can have no contact with women during their menstrual cycle. No U.S. citizen will argue any longer that these are primitive ideas and the validity of them is clearly non-constitutional and morally wrong. The same can be said about the outdated premise that gays should not marry. This is almost as ridiculous as our other statements made in the Bible then. Jim Walker stated in an article written in 1997 and added to in 2004 called "The United States of America is not, in any sense, founded on the Christian religion," that the Constitution is a secular document that nowhere appeals to God, Christianity, Jesus, or any supreme being. The U.S. government derives from people, not a God. Walker also points out that the Constitution says that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. So if the Constitution does not back up any religions, why should our government force our citizens to abide by Christianity's book, especially since not all Americans share one religion? And America's book gives us freedom of religion. So as you can see, same-sex marriage should be legalized because it is their equal right, it promotes love over hate, and if America was not founded on religious beliefs. All marriage between consenting adults should be honored and respected because it is the right thing to do morally and legally. If Rosa Parks was able to break barriers and the feminist movement was able to help women gain equality, then don't you want to be part of the movement that ends the ban on gay marriage? I know that I do.